For those 6 months, I prioritized myself entirely. Now I'm committed to putting my husband first. I won't cease my pursuit of him, always hoping he sees my sincere desire to be with him. I understand his skepticism about my feelings for the app after 6 months of deception. I comprehend, but those emotions are absent. The only feelings I harbor for the app are shame, hatred, disappointment in myself, sorrow for the families affected, disgust, and regret. Nothing but negative emotions. Reflecting on those months elicits no positive emotions. I don't miss the app, yearn for him, or wish to communicate with him. My connection with my husband, however, is characterized by longing, missing, and the desire to be together. I love my husband. I am in love with my husband. I have no interest in being with another man. I've come to realize what I had and how I took it for granted. I want our life back, despite knowing I've shattered everything. Today's therapy session was a tearful acknowledgement, blaming myself for every aspect of the turmoil. I even voiced the thought that they might be better off without me, sparing them the complexities of shared custody and emotional strain. I loathe myself for throwing away my whole world simply for the fleeting pleasure of feeling wanted. I don't intend to date anyone. My goal is to rebuild with my husband. I earnestly wish he could perceive the sincerity in my words and my commitment to becoming a safe partner for him. I am acutely aware of what I've squandered and reproach myself incessantly for it. I want to rebuild a new relationship with my husband, not for safety or comfort, not simply due to familiarity over 17 years or to avoid major changes. I want it because I genuinely love him, despite my actions in those 6 months suggesting otherwise. I was never driven by hatred or resentment towards him, but rather I struggled with my self-image as a mother and wife. From the moment he expressed not being in love anymore, I felt inadequate, attributing it to insufficient intimacy. He mentioned it repeatedly, even during times I thought we were intimate. Financially, though I contributed, I felt inferior due to his higher income. His moving here, I gained weight, exacerbating my self-esteem issues. His attempts to help initially waned, and when he finally shared his true feelings, I internalized a sense of inadequacy. Right, in January 2018, I committed to weight loss, feeling better about myself. Compliments resumed, but my warped mindset dismissed them as obligatory. When the other man, team, entered the picture, I didn't anticipate the consequences. Initially, my involvement with the club was driven by a desire for validation, not a pursuit of another man. Flirtations felt good due to external validation, feeding into my newfound self-confidence. When my husband expressed concerns, fear prevented me from being truthful. My husband now strongly asserts that he doesn't want me, expressing anger and disgust. He desires a swift exit from the situation. He won't believe or trust me, and our chances of being together seem shattered. I remain committed to personal growth and the hope that he may recognize it someday. However, I must acknowledge the likelihood of divorce and the importance of moving forward with that understanding. I'm not giving up. I will persist in my efforts to show him, talk to him, and do things for him. While I'm not running away, I recognize the destruction I've caused in my husband. He undoubtedly deserves better. I believe I can be that better person, but I need him to see it. I won't pretend that reconciliation is guaranteed. I'll hope, pray, and work for it, but I won't expect it. Regardless, I will never give up on him, even in the event of divorce. I aim for a friendly relationship, preventing a lifelong resentment. I'll stand here for as many years as it takes, listening to his words, both good and bad, and prioritizing him over myself to avoid being a selfish person. I am prepared to endure the 2 to 5 years, or however long it takes. And currently, he's the one not willing to do it. I'm here to stay, even if he hands me the divorce papers. I'll persist in showing him. I've conveyed my feelings to him, expressing how my thoughts are swirling around in my head as I search for the right words. I'm also hurting for hurting him, but it doesn't seem to have any positive impact. Well, I feel hurt. I recognize that his hurt is more important, and I'm not seeking sympathy from him or anyone. Our daughter is our top priority. She hasn't been put second to this situation. We spend time together, and both he and I engage in nightly adventure walks and talks with her. Despite any difficulties, we are still there for her. He would do anything for his daughter. Priority. He looked through all the pictures I still had on my phone. Some were never sent to him, or the EO just taken for myself. I did my best to recall which ones I sent to the OEUZO and shared those details. If I genuinely couldn't remember, I admitted it. He asked me to walk him through the sexting that took place. It was difficult, but I recounted what was said. I've always struggled with eye contact when discussing personal matters, even with my therapist. He insisted I look at him while talking. He questioned if there was more I wasn't saying. After hesitating, I disclosed additional meetups that occurred brief moments after work to say hi, sometimes ending with a kiss. I assured him that was all, knowing I was still concealing. When he inquired about a specific sexual aspect, I admitted to it. I claimed it was the last revelation, all the while aware of one final undisclosed detail. He ordered me out of the room, expressing he was done because he sensed I wasn't fully honest. That's when I shared the last piece of information. He mentioned uncovering more details in the future, and informed me he'd share everything with the other betrayed woman, OW, so she could be informed. Just the night before, he expressed a reluctance to quit on us, emphasizing the need for complete honesty to pursue reconciliation. Unfortunately, I didn't volunteer everything willingly and had to be prompted. I regret not heeding the advice to disclose everything from the beginning. Now it feels too late. Hearing him say on Friday night, "I don't want to quit," felt incredibly hopeful. I believed we could overcome this, but I impeded our progress. I assured him I'd respect any decision he makes and would walk with him as his partner either way. I emphasized that doesn't mean surrendering. I still desire him not to quit on me. Bus night. I took our daughter to a yearly festival, a tradition we always enjoyed. He didn't join us, making it a somber night. While my daughter had a great time, I felt an internal misery. Watching other couples being affectionate stirred jealousy. The fear that we might never experience such family moments again was truly unsettling. So apologies for the language, but I've been a pessy hesitant and afraid to share the complete truth. I feared adding more to his thoughts, hurting him and selfishly jeopardizing any chance of reconciliation. The fear of facing consequences has led me to self-sabotage. Every time he extends a chance, I take it too far and ruin it. When he expresses love, my own feelings of unworthiness make me trickle truth, further damaging things. Yesterday, he was willing to give me a chance, ready to try, and then I dropped more bombshells. I admitted to him that I'm done sabotaging and hurting everyone, hoping it's not too late. My fear persists that it might be. He had happiness ready for me, and I inadvertently knocked it out of his hands. I've added the latest details to my timeline, realizing that I'm inadvertently sabotaging in it. It's not because I don't want to reconcile or have feelings for the app. It's deep down, knowing I don't deserve his love after what I've done. I harbor zero positive feelings for the OLs. If I never had to think about him again, that would be fine. The man I want is my husband. I'm determined to save our relationship and stop destroying every chance he gives me. Regarding the one-time intercourse, that's accurate. He believes the EME's been to our house, but he has not. While he knows our street, he has never been on our property. If a polygraph test is ever considered, I hope that question is included, as it's the only way to prove I am telling the truth. I am not avoiding or denying my feelings for the O during the affair. I genuinely thought I loved him then. During the affair, I didn't perceive it as blending families. It was a way to see him more. I never wanted his family or him to have mine. I just craved more time with him and his attention. I do not still have love for him. It's the truth. I don't miss him, think about him on my own, long to be with him or wonder about him. I would love to never have to think about him again. I haven't detailed every sexual act in my thread because I don't think it's necessary for strangers. I disclosed all the details to my bees, facing the difficulty of uttering those words, anticipating the unknown, and witnessing his emotional response. It's a selfish act, and I recognize that. I had him ready to work through this 2 days ago, but my fear of losing that progress made me hesitant. I came clean to my therapist last night, admitting I had lied to her about revealing everything weeks ago. I'm even ashamed to confess everything to her. I have nothing left to admit, and I wish he would share his thoughts. I would share his thoughts on what else he believes has happened, as I'm unsure of his perspective beyond what he's already said. For those in the back, listen up. We only had intercourse one time. We sneaked around in his garage, which was dangerous enough. We never had the opportunity to have sex until that weekend, and a part of me didn't want to go all the way. Maybe that's why it never happened before. I don't know. We were always in his garage with the doors open. If I went into his house, his girls were right there in the living room. Our physical relationship was more like two teenagers trying to touch each other when they were alone. There was more rubbing, like dry humping, than anything else. I understand that it's inconceivable that two adults could be in a relationship for 6 months and only have sex once. But it happened. I find it hard to believe there aren't betrayers here who had sex with their app every time. I'm sure there were times when they didn't have sex. It is possible. There were also many times when we didn't do anything but talk. I didn't always want to be physical with him. Sometimes I just wanted to vent about a colleague, or he wanted to vent about life. The majority of our meetups were just that, a venting BS session. While writing this, a polygrapher just got back to me. He told me to call him so he can answer my questions. I want the test so maybe my BS can believe me on something, even if it doesn't change his mind about giving me another chance. I've messed up beyond belief. Last night he told me, "You won. I am too broken to leave you. I'm not strong enough. I will just stay here and rug sweep it all." I don't want that. It's not what I wanted to happen. I want him to stay here because he actually wants to. I want him to start feeling stronger. He seemed like it 2 days ago and then I kicked his legs out from under him again. I didn't say to myself, "You're gonna trickle truth for 2 months to keep stabbing that knife in him." I was scared to admit everything. I thought he knew enough. I was making that choice for him. I have messed up beyond belief. Last night he told me, "You won. I am too broken to leave you. I'm not strong enough. I will just stay here and rug sweep it all." I don't want that. It's not what I wanted to happen. I want him to stay here because he actually wants to. I want him to start feeling stronger. He seemed like it 2 days ago, and then I kicked his legs out from under him again. I didn't say to myself, "You're going to trickle truth for 2 months to keep stabbing that knife in him." I was scared to admit everything. I thought he knew enough. I was making that choice for him. I finally admitted everything, but I didn't do it on my own. I needed him to pull it out of me because I was so ashamed and embarrassed. I wasn't strong enough to say it on my own. I want him to have faith that I can be the person who loves him like he deserves, supports him like he deserves, and makes him happy like he deserves. Without a doubt, I believe he would be by my bedside if I ever got sick, spoon-feeding me and even changing my bedpan. I think he still would, even if we divorced, because we've spent 17 years together, half of our lives, our entire adult lives, and I threw that away. I don't want to have an affair again. I don't want to cross those boundaries again, or allow myself to become vulnerable like that. I want open communication with my husband, understanding each other's feelings. I don't want to shut down and run away. I want to value him no matter what happens. My husband is unique and special because after I ripped his heart out, he still called me the love of his life. He wants to be with me but is afraid. Afraid of me. I told him I would show him every day that he has nothing to be afraid of, regardless of the outcome. I want to take away the pain I caused him. I know some may not believe me, but others can because they felt the same about the ones they betrayed. I didn't interpret his words as his words have meaning. I can never be loved again if we divorce. He pointed out that I have exactly what every person wants right in front of me, someone who truly loves me. I have 2 choices, run and lose that, or stay and do everything possible to hold on to it forever while giving my husband the same. I know damn well that I am a pop for what I did. Nor am I playing the victim card. If anything, I'm a victim to myself since I caused all of this. I love how you can see through my lies, but God forbid FWs actually care about his or her spouse. We're full of it. We can't possibly want happiness for them. Yes, I'm getting defensive and pissed off now. I lied, not denying that anymore. I will not sit here though, and let any of you tell me that I don't love my husband or care about or actually want happiness for him. You are not in my heart or brain. You don't know what I feel. So how about you stop projecting your feelings onto me? So let me understand this. When OTS doesn't acknowledge they messed up and are, in fact, a bad person, they're not acknowledging who they are. But when a West does acknowledge that they messed up and that they are a bad person, they are playing the victim. Holy freaking shit! I'm acknowledging what a crappy person I am. I am not asking for sympathy. I am not asking for pats on the back. I am not playing the victim. I am that person. I know I don't deserve my husband. I know he would be happier and better off without me. I know he deserves the world. I know that if he chooses to give me a chance, I will treat it as a gift and work my butt off to be a safe partner for him. I also get it that for some reason, it's so hard to understand when AEWs doesn't have feelings for the app anymore. Maybe, just maybe, it's because the feelings we had weren't true deep feelings. Maybe we actually don't care for our apps anymore. If you want to say that I haven't had any humility throughout all of this, then that's fine. Again, your opinion. I see every single day what my lies have done to my husband. Every single day. I say to myself, he should divorce me. Believe it or not, I actually do know what I deserve. Dean, my husband lost his mom this past Sunday. She lives in a different state, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to be there. He's flying out there for the memorial. He and his sister will get to have each other for support. His sister has been caring for their mom for over 10 years. He was thinking about bringing our daughter with him, but the flight he is taking gets in after midnight. I wish we could be there with him for support. He drove from OK to Nye for me when my mom passed away. He was there for me. I asked him if we could go. He doesn't feel me going would be a good idea. He doesn't know if I can ever give him support. How does the person who abused you also be a person that can support you? I completely understand that. I will be here supporting him whether he's ready to accept it or not. He's told me he doesn't want my support. He said I wasn't there for him in May when he went up there and had to put his mom on hospice. He started talking about divorce again. He's leaning that way. When 5 feet out the door, he said, he feels himself detaching again, and if that keeps happening, then he will divorce. I asked him if he is doing it himself. He said no, it is just happening. I told him I was hoping we could be more than cordial co-parents when around our daughter. We get around her so she sees that her mommy and daddy still get along. I picture him distant and cold when we are around her. He took that as if I was asking to be buddy-buddy. He firmly stated multiple times that he will be cutting me out of his life, running away from me. He will stand by me at her games, but that's it. I got very emotional and upset by that. He took it as me being selfish. Didn't believe me when I said, I want that for our daughter. Not me. I don't expect us to be friends. At least not right away. Maybe years down the road. It sucked hearing all of that. How clear he made it that when we divorce, we will only be interacting. Not sure I would even call it that. When our kid has a program, basically. He said we will never be sharing any birthdays or holidays. And that I have already screwed up my kid's life. By splitting up her parents, now she can't even have them in the same room on those special days. So yes, I was really hoping we could do that, at least for her. It looks like if when we divorce, he will be 99 out of my life. And that sucks if that's me being selfish, then I'll accept that he has been in my life for 17 years. And now he will be gone because of me everything I say, and do seem selfish if that's me being selfish, then I'll accept that he has been in my life for 17 years. He's been in my life for 17 years, and now he will be gone because of me. Everything I say and do seems selfish. It doesn't appear that way in my head when I'm saying or doing it, but it ends up being. I don't know how to stop that. Yes, after hearing him, I realized what I was asking was ridiculous. I was just seeing protecting my kid's happiness because I know all of this change is due to me. I still do. He then decided he wanted a vasectomy. I would be awful to too. It's not something that I enjoy. I would be texting funny or intimate things to break the sad moments. That's something he would have done as well. He will be on my mind all day tomorrow, especially in the evening during the service. When my parents fought, I would blame my dad just like my mom did, or I would blame my mom for putting me in the middle. It took about 5 years for me to tell anyone about what my uncle did to me, and that didn't work out like I thought it would. I didn't expect my mom to not believe me and rug sweep it. He used me in every possible way, and I let him because it kept him around. I then became the BG or OG, however you want to look at it. I never spoke to anyone about how I felt. I guess I knew how to make people feel bad. I knew how to give in, so I could keep people around. Our daughter and I made little welcome home signs for him. She was crazy excited to see him, started screaming before he even went through the doors. I didn't intrude on their time. I asked him if he wanted some company. I scratched his head, rubbed his back, and laid down with him. I was very happy when he put his arm around me. We didn't really talk at all, but at least he let me in for the night. It's not over until the papers are signed. I think those papers are going to be signed, and there won't be that special second marriage to him a few years later. He will lose his sanity. I told him I will do whatever he wants. I know that's not letting go of the outcome, but how can you just let the person go without a fight, without begging? He just couldn't lay next to me anymore. I was trying to think of anything I've seen on here as things that have worked for some. I don't want him to be tortured. Connection, update. I did appreciate every single word of advice, but I never took the most important one. I know I would fail that question, or if I answered yes, he would have told my husband. It has caused me to have to look for apartments and leave our home. match my inability to tell the truth has caused me to lose everything that I had. But to any of us reading this who haven't confessed yet, do it. I did them. I also did not fantasize about what it would be like to leave him for the OPM. The OB said, if we ever got caught and they divorced us, we couldn't be together because we couldn't afford it. I replied, I never said, well, let's just see what happens. The fantasy I had was, I wonder if he and I would have dated if we met as teenagers before meeting our spouses. How did you both explain it to your kids? Did you and your BS still do things together with your child?